Karen's sneer could curdle milk, and her sister Kathy's laugh was a chainsaw through the quiet evening. They strutted through my front yard like they owned the neighborhood, ripping out my fire extinguisher with a grunt and a smug. "This eyesore's gotta go." It started with a notice, slipped under my door like a coward's calling card. The HOA, led by the indomitable Karen and her equally insufferable sister Kathy, had declared my fire safety equipment unsightly. My modest ranch-style home, with its neatly trimmed lawn and freshly painted shutters, was apparently an affront to their vision of suburban perfection. The fire extinguisher mounted by my garage, a visual nuisance. The smoke detector in my entryway, tacky. I'd laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But Karen didn't joke. Karen judged. I'd moved to Willow Creek 6 months ago, seeking a fresh start after a messy divorce. The neighborhood was postcard perfect. Kids on bikes, old oaks lining the streets, and neighbors who waved until Karen and Kathy, the HOA's self-appointed queens, decided you didn't belong. At 350 pounds each, with matching bleach blonde bobs and a penchant for pastel tracksuits, they waddled through the cul-de-sacs like emperors, barking orders about mailbox colors and lawn ornaments. They'd fined Mrs. Delgado for her rosebushes, too wild, shamed Mr. Patel for his Diwali lights, too bright, and now they'd set their sights on me. That evening, I was sipping coffee on my porch when I heard the clatter. Karen and Kathy, armed with a screwdriver and a superiority complex, were dismantling my fire extinguisher from its bracket. I stepped outside, heart pounding. "What the hell are you doing?" Karen spun around, her jowls quivering. "This thing's an eyesore, David. HOA rules. You got 48 hours to remove it, or we will." Kathy, holding my smoke detector like it was a dead rat, chimed in. "And this? This cheap plastic junk? It's lowering property values." I tried reasoning. "That's safety equipment. It's code compliant. You can't just..." "Code?" Karen scoffed, her voice dripping with contempt. "We are the code around here. You think you're smarter than us, newbie?" Kathy smirked, tossing the smoke detector into a cardboard box labeled violations. My blood boiled. These weren't just busybodies. They were bullies, drunk on their tiny fiefdom. I grabbed my phone, hands shaking, and started recording. "You're stealing my property." "That's illegal." Karen laughed, a harsh, guttural sound. "Go ahead, film us. Nobody cares about your little toys." She yanked the extinguisher free, the metal screeching against the wall. Neighbors began to gather Mrs. Delgado, Mr. Patel, and young Jamie from across the street watching in stunned silence. The maw of their arrogance was gaping, and I wasn't the only one fed up. Mrs. Delgado, a retired nurse with a spine of steel, stepped forward. "Karen, you're endangering lives. That equipment's there for a reason." Karen rolled her eyes. "Oh, please, Maria. Nobody's burning down this neighborhood. It's just clutter." But Jamie, barely 16, wasn't having it. "My mom's house caught fire last year," he said, voice cracking. "We needed one of those." "You're messed up." The crowd murmured, tension rising like heat off asphalt. Karen's face reddened, but she doubled down. "Don't lecture me, kid. This is our neighborhood." That's when it happened. Kathy, in her zeal to clean up, tripped over the extinguisher, sending it crashing to the ground. A hissing spray erupted, coating her in white foam. She shrieked, flailing like a beached whale, while Karen bellowed, "You idiot! Look at this mess!" The neighbors gasped, some stifling laughs. I kept filming, my heart racing not from fear now, but from the dawning realization that they'd crossed a line they couldn't uncross. The police arrived 20 minutes later, sirens cutting through the dusk. Officer Ramirez, a no-nonsense cop with tired eyes, surveyed the scene. Karen and Kathy, foam-splattered and indignant, clutching my stolen equipment. Me, holding my phone with damning footage, and a small crowd of neighbors, now vocal with their own grievances. "Ladies," Ramirez said, "you're removing fire safety equipment. That's reckless endangerment. A felony." Karen's jaw dropped. "Felony? For this? We're protecting the neighborhood." Kathy, still wiping foam from her tracksuit, snapped, "You can't arrest us. We're the HOA." Ramirez didn't flinch. "You're not above the law. Hands behind your backs." The cuffs clicked shut, and the crowd erupted, some cheering, some whispering in disbelief. Karen's smug facade cracked, her eyes wide with panic. "This is a mistake. We'll sue," Kathy sobbed, her bravado gone. As they were led to the squad car, Mrs. Delgado called out, "Maybe next time, don't mess with people's safety." Jamie high-fived her, grinning. I uploaded the video to the neighborhood's private forum that night. By morning, it had 200 shares and a flood of comments. Finally. "They've been terrorizing us for years. Thank you, David." The HOA board, humiliated, issued a public apology and suspended Karen and Kathy pending an investigation. The police report confirmed the charges: reckless endangerment, theft, and vandalism. Their reign was over. But the fallout wasn't just legal. The neighborhood began to heal. Mrs. Delgado hosted a potluck, where we swapped stories of Karen and Kathy's tyranny, fines for ugly birdhouses, demands to repaint offensive beige fences. Jamie's mom, a quiet woman who rarely spoke, shared how the sisters had mocked her after her fire, calling her careless. We listened, we laughed, we bonded. Willow Creek felt like a community again, not a battlefield. Weeks later, I stood in my driveway, remounting a new fire extinguisher. The air was crisp, the oaks rustling softly. Mr. Patel walked by, waving. "Nice work, David. You took down the dragons." I smiled, but my chest tightened. I hadn't wanted a war, just a home. Karen and Kathy, in their blind arrogance, had endangered us all, believing their rules trumped human lives. Their punishment wasn't just handcuffs. It was the loss of their power, their status, their illusion of control. The courtroom date came and went. Karen and Kathy pleaded guilty to reduced charges, avoiding jail, but earning probation and hefty fines. They moved away, their house sold to a young couple who planted wildflowers in the yard. The neighborhood didn't miss them. We'd learned something vital: power, unchecked, festers. But community, built on respect, endures. I still see Jamie sometimes, riding his bike, a new confidence in his grin. Mrs. Delgado's roses bloom brighter now, untamed. And my fire extinguisher? It's back where it belongs, a quiet sentinel. Karen and Kathy thought they could bully the world into submission. They didn't expect the world to push back. The end.